Hello, everyone. Welcome. We're going to take just one more minute to get everyone settled with their audio and have any people join in. Awesome. Thank you very much for being with us. Let's see. So I'm going to. All right, welcome to the DreamUS presentation today on our National Scholarship for Community College Graduates. I am Sadhana Singh. I am Senior Communications Manager for the DreamUS. I'm also a former scholar and a graduate of the DreamUS. So today, as I tell you about our program, I will be speaking from personal experience with the scholarship, just to let you know how important it is and how much it has changed lives. I have several team members of the DreamUS with me, but today I'll be supported primarily by Melanie Perfect. So Melanie, I'll go ahead and have you introduce yourself.
Thank you, Sadhana. Hi, everyone. My name is Melanie Perfect. I am the program manager at TheDream.Us. Like Sadhana, I am a former scholarship recipient and graduate from Northeastern Illinois University. Happy to be here amongst other community college students and happy to promote the scholarship.
All right, thanks, Melanie. And then I'll also have Camilla introduce herself. She is another one of our fellow graduates. Go ahead, Camilla.
Hi, everyone. My name is Camila Salkov. I am the operations manager here at the DreamUS. I went to Trinity Washington University with the DreamUS scholarship. I graduated with a major in accounting. So yeah, really happy to be here.
Thanks, Camilla. We also have Elena and Hayne with us. They'll be in the chat. So if you already have questions about the DreamUS, just start putting them in the chat. We have, staff here who will answer your questions. They're very knowledgeable about our program. So I'll go ahead and get started. Let's see, I will share my screen. All right, so you should be seeing my PowerPoint come up here. And as I mentioned, today we're talking about our National Scholarship for Community College Graduates. So right now, the DreamUS applications are open for our National Scholarship. They are open until February 25th. So thank you for being here early. Thank you for taking this time on a Friday to learn about our scholarship so you have time to apply. So what is the DreamUS? If you've never heard of us before, we are a college access and success program for undocumented students in the United States. We offer college scholarships for undocumented students to complete their undergraduate degrees. Currently, we have 4,000 scholars enrolled in colleges across the United States, and we've had 1,500 graduates so far. And these students have attended schools in 16 states around the country, including Washington, D.C. So under our national scholarship, you can apply as a community college graduate. What this means is once you have your associate degree at the end of this semester or the summer of 2021, you're able to then attend college with our scholarship to complete your bachelor's degree. Our award for you would be $31,000, and this would cover your tuition fees, books, and supplies for you to finish your bachelor's degree. So every year, our scholarship opens on November 1st. As I mentioned, this year it closes Thursday, February 25th, and the awards are announced to those who received it and those who did not receive it in late April. Now, our eligibility criteria. So above everything else, you must meet our immigration eligibility criteria. We are open to students who have DACA and TPS status. So if you already have current and DACA TPS status, you're good to go. Now, if you don't have DACA or TPS, don't count yourself out. You can still apply to our scholarship. You must be able to meet the criteria of having been in the United States since November 1st, 2015. And you have to otherwise meet the DACA criteria. So for those of you who are knowledgeable about the DACA criteria, the date for DACA is 2007. And so what we've done is we've changed that date to November 1st, 2015 to give you a little bit more time to be eligible for our scholarship. So as part of the DACA criteria, you have to have come to the US before you were 16. You have to have graduated from a US high school. And of course, you cannot have a criminal background or any criminal history. And for our purposes, you have to have lived in the US since November 1st, 2015. Now, what are the other criteria for meeting this scholarship? So as you see in number 1 is what I previously just explained. For number 2, for these purposes, you have to have graduated from a US community college by the end of this academic year with a GPA of 3.0 or greater. You cannot have been enrolled in a 4-year institution before. You cannot have been enrolled in a bachelor's degree program at a 4-year institution. You must be eligible for in-state tuition at your partner college, and you must also apply and be admitted to that partner college. So on our website, TheDream.US, you'll see we have what's called the National Application Guidelines. We've created this PDF document which walks you through how to determine your eligibility to see if you do qualify for a scholarship. It'll take you through the parts of the application and how to complete it. And it also has information for what to do after you submit your application. So we recommend you go to our website, click on the National Scholarship, and you'll be able to find the National Scholarship Application Guidelines. So feel free to start there first if you want to determine if you're eligible for our scholarship. Now, what does the application actually look like? So we're going to ask you for some personal information, and we're going to ask you to certify that you meet that immigration eligibility criteria. So our application works on the honor system. So you're going to tell us that you either have DACA TPS or that you came to the United States before November 1st, 2015, and you otherwise meet the DACA criteria. We're not asking you to put in any documents for your immigration status, but if the information is found out to be false later, you do run the risk of losing the scholarship. For personal information, we're not going to ask for your street address. We're just going to ask you for, I believe it's city and state or county and state. So you don't have to put in your actual home address. For academic information, in this case, if you will be a community college graduate, or if you're already a community college graduate, you'll give us your unofficial or official transcript. Now on that transcript, we must be able to identify your community college that you attended and that GPA. This year, we're making ACT, SAT test scores optional. If you have those, go ahead and plug them in the application, but you don't need them. For financial information, this is how we determine your financial need for this scholarship. We're going to ask you to plug in the numbers for your annual household income, the number of people in the household supported by this income, and the number of people who are going to be attending college in your household on this income in the next academic year. Now, again, you don't have to put in any documents for this. You don't have to give us any tax documents or pay stubs or anything like that. You're simply going to have those numbers ready to put into the application. Next part's going to be responsibilities. So we do want to know if you have volunteer experience or community service experience. Now, with undocumented students, we know that sometimes it's hard for us to have this experience, given that we do support our families at home. So this may mean something like you're the only driver in the family, or you translate for your parents. It may also mean that you take care of your younger siblings or your nieces or nephews or your grandparents. And so we do want to know this. And this is where you put it in home responsibilities. So again, if you're thinking, oh, I don't have volunteer experience, I don't do community service, because I have all these responsibilities at home, definitely still go ahead and start your application. We want to know about these responsibilities that you have at home. Again, this helps us determine the kind of student that you are and the kind of person that you are and will be in college. Next, for the essays. These are very crucial to the application. We do require 2 essays, 750 words each. This is where you get to tell us who you are and why getting a college education is so important to you. Why do you want to complete your bachelor's degree? What do you hope to achieve as far as career goals, or even, for yourself with the bachelor's degree, or for your family? So this is your chance to really Shine, tell us all the things you've accomplished, challenges you've overcome. Tell us what your goals are. I know as undocumented students, as immigrants, it's sometimes really hard to brag about ourselves and to really like look back and think of all the great things that we've done and our hopes and dreams, but this is your chance to really do that. And we recommend you start your essays early. And then we recommend that you have a teacher or a mentor or someone you trust read over them for you before you submit. So you definitely want to proofread for spelling, grammar, all that good stuff. So I'll stop here. And Melanie, can you let me know if there are any questions so far in the chat that we can answer?
Yes, for sure. We do have a couple of questions in our chat, Sadana. Let's see. The first one is if you can maybe go over the financial information again, a little bit in more depth, specifically pertaining to the annual income. Is it gross pay or net?
Got it. Okay, let me just cycle back to that. Elena, would you be able to shed some light on that one for us?
Sure. Sorry, I had to grab my unmute button. So it depends on how you are answering the question. There are a couple of options in there. If you are a dependent and you would be providing your family's or your parents' income, it's going to ask you whether your parents have filed taxes or not. If they have filed taxes, you would be providing the information based on the tax form. So the adjusted gross income amount that's provided on the 1040. If they have not, sorry, totally lost my train of thought there. If they have not submitted tax documentation, then you would be providing your gross annual income. Same thing if you are considered independent, no longer supported by your family's income, same question. If you've submitted taxes, adjusted gross income. If you have not, then your gross income.
Thank you. Any other questions, Melanie?
Well, pertaining to the financial part, we have a question from Sebastian asking the tax documentation based on the last tax year filed or 2020?
Last tax year filed.
Thank you. Thank you, Elena. We do have a couple of questions pertaining to eligibility. We have 3, so I'll go in order that they came in. There's a question that says, what if my GPA is a little lower than 3.0?
If it is below a 3.0, unfortunately, it does knock you out because you do have to have that 3.0 or higher. I will put it in the chat box in just a minute, but Immigrants Rising has an amazing list of additional scholarship opportunities on their website. And I would suggest to look into those to see if you meet any of the eligibility criteria for those scholarships.
Got it. Thank you, Elena. Another question pertaining to eligibility criteria. I came to the US at the age of 20 years old and didn't finish the high school here. I'm currently studying in order to get my associate's degree, so am I not qualified?
Correct. In this case, unfortunately, you do not qualify. Even if you don't have DACA, we do ask that you meet the DACA criteria, which includes arriving in the US before you are 16 years old and having graduated from a US high school. So again, we'll have someone drop the link to the Immigrants Rising scholarship list, and you'll be able to find other opportunities for undocumented students for scholarships you can apply to.
Got it. Thank you, Sadana. I think if you can go over a little bit more in terms of what it means to have graduated with your associate's degree by spring of this year or summer of this year. We do have a question saying, so if you're not graduating this school year, it makes no sense to apply, or when is the best time to apply?
Elena, you want to take that one?
Sure, that's correct. You would have to have earned your associate's degree by the summer of 20. Hold on, we're in 21. Yeah, so you would have to have earned your associate's degree by this summer in order to qualify. If you are going to graduate in the fall of this year, then you would apply next year.
Got it. questions again, a little bit about the age eligibility. I have a question here that says, can you still apply? You meet all the criteria, but you came to the US at the age of 23.
Right. As we said originally, as part of the DACA criteria, it does stipulate you must have come before age 16. So unfortunately, you would not be able to apply also.
Okay. I have a question from Luis asking, what if you are not currently unemployed? I don't know if it might need a little bit more specification. Is that something we ask on our application?
It's not something we ask. My guess is it does have to relate back to the financial component of the application. If you don't have any income coming in, then you would put 0 as your gross income. So we don't ask for any sort of financial documentation. It is all self-reported. So if you've only made $500 for the year, then that's what you would put in there.
Thank you, Elena. This question is more in regards to the partner colleges. It says, I have a 3.9 GPA and PTK and AASPA member, while mentioning all these organizations better my application. And also, does it have to be a partner school where I have to transfer?
Got it. Yes, on your application, definitely put in the organizations that you're part of, all of the extra leadership roles or things that you're involved in on or off campus. We definitely want to know that. Yes, you do have the choice of a partner school to attend. You cannot use our scholarship outside of our partner colleges. Perhaps you can drop what state you're in the chat, and that way we can further direct you to the colleges available to you. They're also on our website. So if you go to TheDream.US and you go to our national scholarship, you'll see a little menu item that says partner colleges. And once you click there, you'll be able to see a map of all the colleges we have across the country. So you'll zero in on your state and you'll see what colleges are available for you to attend.
Got it. Thank you, Sedana. We have three more questions. This one is asking, I was enrolled in a 4-year university 12 years ago, but had to drop out due to immigration issues. Does that enrollment disqualify me from the national scholarship?
Unfortunately, it does. No matter when this happens, but if you have been enrolled in a 4-year university, you cannot apply to the scholarship.
Again, I would suggest looking at the link that I provided for the Immigrants Rising scholarship list.
Thanks, Elena.
Mm-hmm. And so, Donna, if you can maybe confirm that you do not have to have DACA in order to be eligible for this application. This question is saying, am I still eligible even though I don't have DACA status?
Got it. Great question. Yes, I know it's a little bit confusing. We do accept those that have DACA and TPS, but you don't need to have actual DACA status. But you do need to meet the criteria for DACA. And so some of it's outlined on this slide right here. So you have to have come to the US before the age of 16. You have to have graduated from a US high school, and you have to have no criminal background. And those are things that, in the DACA application, you need to put those in. Now, for DACA itself, the date that you're supposed to have been in the US is June 2007. For our purposes, we realized that there were a lot of, other younger immigrants who actually came to the US after that date. And we still want you to be able to, afford college and to have a college career. And so for our purposes, we're changing the original DACA 2007 date to November 1st, 2015. So I hope that sort of clears it up. You still have to meet the DACA criteria as outlined by the USCIS, but for the date of arriving in the country, for the DreamUS purposes, you can have arrived before November 1st, 2015. I hope that's a little bit clearer.
And so Donna, an attendee had asked me if these slides will be sent to the attendees in this meeting, or if they can be, will they be available to the attendees?
Yes, absolutely. I can send you, we are being recorded right now, so I can send you the recording and the slides afterward. And the slides will have all the links and everything to take you to our website as well.
Thank you. We have 2 more questions, and great questions, a lot of common questions. This one asks, will the announcements for scholars be announced by email?
Yes, so once you go ahead and start your application with us, you'll see that it's hosted from a site called ISTS. So they're a program that we work with that helps us administer the scholarship. You will be getting notifications from them from time to time as an applicant, and that's exactly where you'll get the notification as well. ISTS will send you an email in late April to let you know whether you have the scholarship or not.
Thank you, Sadhana. And Elena also answered in the chat, so thank you for that. This question is asking more so in regards to the partner colleges, and it says, if you receive the scholarship and select a partner school at the time, do you have to attend that school, or can you change it as long as it's a part of the partner schools? Does the scholarship cover room and board?
All right, so the first part of that, you can change it as long as it is a college in your state where you're able to get in-state tuition. So for example, if I'm in New York and I apply to one of our CUNY partners, I can change, what CUNY partner I am attending, but I can't say that I, want to go to school in New Jersey. So you have to be able to have in-state tuition at your partner college. And so again, depending on what state you have, we have, a couple partners in the state. And Melanie, remind me of the second part, sorry.
The second portion, does the scholarship cover room and board? And this is kind of like the third part. Does the scholarship cover room and board? And do you have to apply to the school separately, or is the scholarship application a part of the admissions application?
Okay, got it. So the scholarship does not cover room and board. The award of $31,000 is for tuition and fees only. And so you are welcome to apply to other scholarships that are available to you. And you also may get, other institutional aid from your college that may help you cover room and board. But our $31,000 will not. It's only for tuition and fees. And then, sorry, I forget the other part again.
No worries. It's asking in regards to the admissions. So, and do you have to apply to the school separately, or is the scholarship application part of the admissions application?
Okay, for the national scholarship, yes, you apply to the school separately. So for example, if I'm a New Jersey resident, I'm going to apply to the DreamUS National Scholarship, and I'm also going to apply to either Rutgers Newark or Rutgers New Brunswick at the same time. So this is an example of our two New Jersey partners.
Perfect. And this is our last question in the chat box, asking, do I need to notify my transferring school about this scholarship beforehand? So maybe Elena could take that.
If you are awarded the scholarship, your information will actually be made available to that partner college, and the partner college will have your information moving forward. If you also select them in the application, you may actually have some reach out from that school currently, just encouraging you to continue with the application, things like that. So the school will have your some basic information. In addition to you having to, apply to that school separately, they'll be able to kind of cross-reference to do some reach out. It never hurts to reach out to them, but, they will have your information.
Got it. We do have another question from the same attendee. And then maybe afterwards, if Sadhana and Elena, you can maybe go over or talk about the selection process and the timeline for the scholarship. Before that, the question is, if I get selected, is it okay for me to use for my education, but partially donate to people who has had a hard time like me?
Do you mean the award? Use the award for your education and donate some? Is that what the question is?
I'm assuming so in terms of the award. So is it okay for me to use it for my education, but partially donate to people who has had a hard time like me?
Okay, first of all, that's wonderful. Thank you for having that thought and for being so, generous. Our award is going to be, allocated for you. You actually do not get the award yourself, so nothing comes, to your bank account or anything like that. The award is paid out to your college. So your college manages the scholarship for you. You don't have to worry about, sort of paying the college for tuition every semester kind of thing. And so you do, use the award for your education expenses. Now, if you don't use all of your $31,000, that does go back to our pool to help other students. So again, this is not something that you have to do, but it's just that if you're able to graduate and your classes maybe didn't cost as much as the 31,000 to get your bachelor's, we do take that money back into our pool and we're able to fund other dreamers in college. So I hope that makes sense.
And Sedana and Elena, if you can talk about the selection process a little bit more and the timeline.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have a slide on the timeline right here. So as we mentioned, our application opens November 1st every year. This year it closes February 25th. After the February 25th date, that's when ISTS will go in and look at all of the components of your application, make sure you're meeting all of the criteria. And then actually your essays are then sent to a selection committee. So what this means is us staff at the Dream.US are not reading your essays. We actually have volunteers from across the country who are, business professionals, education professionals, they're, leaders around the community who are actually reading your essays and scoring them. So they're reading it to make sure you answer the question. They're reading it for spelling and grammar. They're reading it to make sure that you have a clear goal of, your educational aspirations and things like that. They then score it and give that score back to us at ISTS. And that's how we're able to determine, along with the other parts of your application, if you're awarded or not. And as I mentioned, in late April, that's when you'll be notified. Elena, I don't know if you want to add anything else about the selection committee.
I think you pretty much nailed it.
All right.
We have a specific question asking, when should one apply to the partner college?
Got it. I believe that's so. The partner college will have its own admissions deadlines. So definitely if you're looking at a particular college, go to the college's website, look at admissions, look at their deadlines. Some have, rolling deadlines where it doesn't matter when you apply to the college, but definitely try to meet the deadlines by the college for admission.
Got it. And those are all the questions in the chat box so far.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. I love the participation. Keep your questions coming. That's what we're here for. We want you to be able to apply for the scholarship. I'm actually going to pause right there, and I want you to hear a little bit more about Melanie's experience. So I'm going to just do a spotlight right now on Melanie. So we'll put her in the hot seat, so to speak. So Melanie received our scholarship as a community college graduate. So Melanie, I want you to tell us your background. How did you, how was your experience at community college? Why was it important for you to get your bachelor's degree? And how did you learn about the DreamUS?
For sure. So for one, I was born in Ecuador and came to the United States at the age of 1. I'm located in Chicago. And so my parents always raised me with the notion that education is important and that no one can ever take your education away from you, no matter your status, where you are in the world. That is key thing to have in life. And so then in pursuing higher education, lack of support or resources due to the undocumented status, I decided to attend a community college here in Chicago. And so once I was a community college student, I did my best to do well in class and to be involved in organizations. It actually took me about 4 years to obtain my associate's degree because I went part-time. I changed my majors a couple times. And so when it was time for me to graduate from community college, I heard about the DreamUS transfer scholarship, which is what we're talking about today. And one of the scholar advisors from the partner college here in Illinois, from Northeastern Illinois University, did a presentation, talked about the scholarship, how we are talking about it right now. And I applied to the scholarship. One of the things I kind of want to point out in the application process is to get started as soon as possible. I know that a lot of times as a student, I left things for the last minute, but this is a scholarship opportunity that I would really highly encourage to take your time on, make sure you answer all the questions correctly, and that you answer the essay questions correctly, and you have people look over them prior to submitting. Second tip, I guess I would say in terms of the application process is just knowing that you are worthy of an amazing opportunity like this and submitting your application. I know for me at least, I felt a lot of imposter syndrome, meaning that I thought other students were worthy or that I wasn't worthy, or maybe I didn't have enough extracurriculars or my essays were not going to be good. So I was saying, let me say bye to it before it says bye to me type mentality. But definitely want to encourage you to not take yourself out of the game and to shoot your shot and apply to the scholarship. So once I have obtained the scholarship from the DreamUS, which was a dream within itself because it allowed me to transfer to Northeastern Illinois University debt-free. The award covered the full tuition at Northeastern Illinois University in addition to the books and the fees. And so crazy to say that as an undocumented student, I was able to graduate with my bachelor's degree debt-free, but it's definitely possible. So please take advantage of this amazing opportunity, apply, and let us know if you have any other questions.
Thank you, Melanie. Thank you for sharing that. That is something that Camilla and I can echo as well. Being former scholarship recipients, we also graduated debt-free. So it's definitely something where you will have your bachelor's degree, you will be debt-free, and then as part of the DreamUS program, you'll get a lot of other supports as well. So we do want you to graduate from college. We do want you to have that degree, but we also want you to have a career afterward. And we want you to be able to make money with your degree afterward. So Melanie, can you talk about the other supports that you got from the DreamUS during your time at Northeastern? Like how did the scholarship impact your college career at that time?
Mm-hmm. So not only did the DreamUS allow me that financial support, it's more than a scholarship. It provided me with a scholar advisor from my partner college, who was very helpful in my transitioning to a four-year university, and just an ally for someone to go to regarding the scholarship, regarding my undocumented status, and just helping me out in the process, in my educational journey. Other resources that I'd like to point out that the DreamUS has is taking into account our mental health. And a lot of times being in this, with this status can present a lot of mental health concerns or just in general, right, in terms of that lens. And so the DreamUS has a mental health liaison and consistently has resources for mental health on our social media channels. And so that's a really good resource that I took advantage of because for one, it's kind of different talking about this to somebody else when you're in this kind of situation, especially someone who cannot relate to it. So it definitely gave me that comfort in talking to someone. Other resources that I like to point out are the immigration hours. I know this is new and I didn't take advantage of this because I don't think it was implemented in my year, but having a dedicated person to kind of ask those immigration questions to. I know a lot of times or at least for me, I Google things, I ask people I know, but it's really good to know that the DreamUS has those other resources available to scholars, especially during these times. So just in terms of other resources.
Thank you, Melanie. Perfect. So from my own experience, I did start with the DreamUS as a high school graduate. I actually got the scholarship 10 years after I graduated high school. So I had actually, had a challenging time being able to go to college in the state where I was from. And finally ended up, with the DreamUS in college at the age of 28. So for those of you who may have graduated, a while ago from community college, it's never too late to get your bachelor's degree. And this scholarship changed my life. Once I got to my campus with the DreamUS, you're not there alone. As Melanie said, we do have, dedicated staff on each of these campuses who work with Dreamers. So these are, pro-immigrant, pro-DACA, pro-Dreamer staff who know your situation, they know your status. They work closely with us at the DreamUS. That's what they're there for. They're there to support you through your college journey. They're there to help you, whether it's academically or, with mental health or with grad school or careers, Melanie was saying. Like they're the safe people on campus that you can go to. You don't have to be, afraid to tell them your status. They work closely with us to support you. And that's one of the things I really benefited from on my campus. I attended Trinity Washington University in DC, like Camilla, and, it felt so good. It meant the world to me to have people on campus that I could really go to, that I could openly share my status. I can say, oh, I'm undocumented. I have DACA. What internships are available to me? Or, how can I get like a part-time job? And so it was great to have these people who sort of already knew my situation. They already worked with the DreamUS and they were able to support me. I also, gained a community of other Dreamers on campus. So you are going to go, to your partner college in a cohort of the DreamUS scholars. You'll be able to meet these other Dreamers. You'll be able to, sort of have that support system. And that was also important to me as well. So lastly, Melanie, I want to ask, what does it mean to you to finally have your bachelor's degree? What does that feel like?
I cannot explain what it means to, like, it's crazy. I never thought I'd get to this point. It took me 6 years to obtain my bachelor's degree. So always when I was in that process, just seeing that end goal. And now that I am at that end goal, it's really cool to kind of look into the future and think about like, oh, my career, what do I want to be successful in? And so obtaining this bachelor's degree has really just opened the doors for me, economically, professionally. So I really do encourage other scholars or just our applicants in general to, not give up and continue aspiring for those educational goals. I know for me, as a first generation college graduate, the first in my family to graduate from college, it was really important for me to set that example for my younger sibling and to really just help my family overall. And so it's meant the world, and really, truly, it would have not been possible if not for the Dream.US.
Great. Thank you, Melanie. So I do see a question in the chat. Yeah, so Elena is answering the question there, but I do want to elevate it as well. If you have already graduated with your associate degree, you can still apply, of course, but you must be accepted, you must be awarded the DreamUS scholarship first before we can cover any of your classes toward a bachelor's degree. What you don't want to do is enroll in a bachelor's degree program this spring before you hear from our college, from our scholarship, because basically that will make you ineligible for the scholarship. So for example, if, the comment says, if you start classes this spring 2020 in a bachelor's degree program, unfortunately, you will be disqualified from the scholarship. So we do, in this case, we do ask that you wait to hear from the DreamUS if you got the award or not, and then you would start this fall at the partner college with your classes covered by this award. Great. And then I'm going to share my screen again just to wrap up. I want to talk about a little bit more in depth about some of the things that Melanie touched on. So the DreamUS is more than a scholarship. And so as I mentioned, we didn't land at our partner college alone. We had other Dreamers on campus with us. And also as part of the DreamUS, you do join our Scholar Facebook group online. So this group has now close to 4,000 DreamUS scholars and graduates. It's a very engaging group. Here you'll meet all the other scholars across the country. You'll be able to ask questions, about your college. Other students will help you. You're able to share resources, ask about other scholarships and grants, immigration resources. So this is going to be a place online for you to connect with all the other Dream.US scholars and graduates. Next, we do, as I mentioned, we do try to get you internships and jobs, and we do this because we partner with other organizations. We do a lot of education in the community about hiring dreamers, and, just to make sure that, you're not discriminated against in terms of hiring and employment. The Dream.US does this work also to ensure that you're able to, get a job after graduation. We also help you with grad school support. We have a partnership with Kaplan that gives you free test prep. We do have a wellness advocate, as Melanie mentioned. We have a psychologist that works with the Dream.US scholars. This person is available for you to call or text. If you're struggling through anything, you want someone to talk to, this person is going to be available to you. And another thing are immigration office hours. So, we have, again, an immigration lawyer that volunteers with us. He holds a 30-minute office hour every month for our scholars. You're able to, come to our Zoom session, ask him questions, get feedback on your immigration situation. We also have an alumni network. So as part of being in our program, you will join, alumni. We have currently about 1,500 Dreamer graduates in our alumni network. You'll be able to, network with them, learn from them, get mentoring, get other job opportunities, and get to interact with people like me, Melanie, and Camilla. And lastly, for COVID, we've been able to give emergency grants to our scholars to support them, if they lost jobs or things like that. So the Dream.US is not just going to be those tuition dollars that you're going to get. We're really going to support you, wholeheartedly as you succeed in college, because we really want you to be able to get your degree and to have a meaningful career to help yourself and your family. And lastly, as Melanie and I have been saying, it's very important to get your bachelor's degree now. Now is probably the time. It will open up careers and opportunities for you that you never imagined. For me, I was able to do a lot of really cool internships and, obviously get a lot of work experience, meet a lot of folks that I never thought that I would get to meet. Just being in a bachelor's degree program, having this scholarship, having this network of other dreamers. And we know that with this upcoming year, if there were any legislation to pass in Congress for immigration reform, possibly a DREAM Act, you will have an advantage, as a bachelor's degree holder or with, in a bachelor's degree program. And lastly, again, as Melanie said, no one can take your college education away from you. No matter where you go in the United States or in the world, you'll be, a college graduate, you'll have your bachelor's degree, and you'll be able to have that with you. So we hope that this motivates you to start your application to the Dream.US today. As mentioned in the chat as well, please share if you know other dreamers or other undocumented students that fit this criteria. Please let them know about our scholarships. You're our #1 source of helping connect us to other dreamers. And we really appreciate you being with us today. If there are any other questions, we're happy to answer. This is your time. We'll stay on the chat. We'll stay in the Zoom. So thank you very much.
So Donna, I believe there's one question here asking, is there a way to check my application status?
Elena?
Sorry, I was getting to my button. Yes, there absolutely is. You just want to sign back into your ISTS account and you will see the application listed there on your homepage. Next to the application name, so it'll say, the Dream.US national application, there is a button that either says started or completed. If it says started and it is grayed out, it means you have not submitted the application yet. And you can actually click on that button and it will take you to another screen that will show you what you're still missing. If that button has changed to sort of a golden, orangey yellow color, that means that you've actually submitted your application, and you can still click on it and see if your transcript is being processed right now. So it'll give you that anytime you click on that button, that lets you know what's going on with your transcript. Has it been uploaded? Has it been accepted? Is it still processing? All of that data is provided there to you. If it's green and says complete, you are good to go. But I will also mention that if something comes up, you've all of a sudden joined a new community group or anything like that, until the deadline of the application, you do have the ability to go back in and make any changes to your application. So I hope that answers that question.
Thank you, Elena.
You're welcome.
Elena, is it okay if I share the ISTS portal login link in the chat box?
Absolutely.
Okay, boom. Okay, we have a question here saying, if you live in a state where in-state tuition is not allowed for non-citizens, should you still apply? If so, can you select any partner college, i.e. Indiana?
Great question. So if you are living in Indiana, a state where you cannot get in-state tuition, you would then apply to our Opportunity Scholarship. So we do have two programs, the National and the Opportunity. So the National, the one we spoke about today, is for those who can get in-state tuition in their state. If you're from Indiana, look at our Opportunity Scholarship. This is a different scholarship where you're actually going to choose a partner college outside of your state. And we have 4 specific partner colleges for that program. And that award is higher. It's an $80,000 award because we are paying for room and board with that scholarship. And this again is because you're unable to get in-state tuition in your state. So please look at our Opportunity Scholarship. My colleague Kane just dropped the link in the chat. If you're from one of our 13 locked out states, Indiana is part of that, you'll be able to qualify. You may be able to qualify for that award as well.
We have a question asking, how many scholarships are awarded?
Great question. Elena?
I can give you an idea of how many were awarded last year. So we awarded just over 1,000 scholarships last year. So it all depends on application numbers and things like that. So you definitely want to, get your application in.
Yep, and to add to that, our application numbers are a little low this year, because of the pandemic and, other things like that. Maybe some students are not really thinking about college right now. So if you, start that application, you have a little higher chance of actually getting the award this year, given that our application numbers are a little low. So if you're thinking twice about it, go ahead and start that application.
I also wanted to mention, Sadhana, I was in the process of answering another question for somebody that had messaged me, but back to the Indiana question, and you may have mentioned it, and I just may not have heard it as I was typing. While yes, opportunity is definitely look at applying to that one. That does mean you are going out of state to one of our 4 partner colleges. If going out of state is not an option for you, then Purdue Global University, so online, would be the option that is available to you in Indiana.
Great. Thanks for letting us know that, Elena. All right, that's about all we have for you all today. Again, if you have any other questions, definitely let us know. But thank you very much for being with us. And I want to thank the DreamUS team members for being with me, answering your questions in the chat. That's what we're here for. We're here to support you, and we really hope that we see you as one of our scholars next fall. So thank you all very much.
Before you end it real quick, Sadhana, there's another question that just popped up about
Absolutely.
a transcript that keeps getting denied. If your transcript is getting denied, click on that started button. That will take you to the screen again where you can see what's going on. And there are specific messages given to you as to why your transcript is being rejected. If you don't see it there, reach out to the ISTS program support team and they'll be able to help you with what's going on with the transcript and why it's being rejected.
Great. These are all great questions, everyone. Thank you very much. All All right, I don't see any other questions coming in. Let's see.
Sorry, this is Hayden. Can you talk really quickly about Arizona? Because there is some confusion there. I just got a question because undocumented students technically don't qualify for resident tuition, but if you could speak to our private partnerships with our private colleges in Arizona, please.
Absolutely. So for Arizona, there are 3 colleges that we partner with: Grand Canyon University, Benedictine University Mesa, as well as Arizona State University. With Grand Canyon and Benedictine, they are both private schools, so the in-state tuition does not come into play there. And then if you will also look on our application, we do actually spell it out for you on the Arizona piece. If you are looking to want to apply to Arizona State University, you will have to qualify for the non-resident tuition rate, which I believe is 150%. And that is what you have to qualify for that rate at ASU in order to receive the scholarship.
Thank you, everyone. All right, just gonna wait a little bit more for any more questions.
Hello.
Hi, yes.
Hi. So like I was telling Elena, I got my associates last fall, right? And right now I'm enrolled for the spring 2021 semester. But like she told me, it is better for me to wait until I know whether or not I got the scholarship. So should I just drop all my classes and then wait until the fall to start? Would that be what you recommend me?
I think what's going to come into play at this point too is, are you beyond the add drop date? If you are still within the 100% rate of dropping and receiving a full refund, then, you know, if you want to take the, I don't want to say chance or risk, but, you know, in essence, that's kind of what you're doing as to whether you would, you know, end up being awarded the scholarship, then go ahead and do it. Once you are beyond that period with the add drop and, you know, those classes will go on a transcript, then that would make you ineligible. So you would need to go ahead and quickly check with your school and see where you are within that period.
Okay, then I'll contact them then. Because I wasn't sure whether, like, if I started the semester, it was gonna cover for the
No.
semester.
It won't. The scholarship, if you are awarded, it begins fall of 2021.
Okay, that makes it clear. Okay, then thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, everyone. Thank you. We'll go ahead and end. On our website, you'll also see the number for ISTS. As I mentioned, that's the website that hosts our application, and you'll be able to contact them by email or phone if you have other questions as well. I will be emailing you afterwards with this PowerPoint and the recording, so you can refer back to that as well. Thank you all for being with us. Have a great rest of your Friday. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.